I'm Ann Morrow from Pearsonville Home, which is in Spring, Texas, and we're actually in a little shopping village called Old Town Spring. When I left you guys last week, we were painting this abundance, and we were doing a pop of color, and you guys were guessing what color I was doing on the inside of the secretary, what our pop of color was. And some of you were really close. I had someone guess Caribbean coral and Russian red. So let's see what color I did. Nobody guessed it. So here we go. Da, 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 da. Bam. All right, so we've done Firelight. Let's get that a little bit closer. So Firelight we have on the inside. So remember, we were going a little Asian fusion kind of feel, and our transfer is the Elegance and Flowers by Prima. Let's see if we can get that nice. So you see that? Yes, there's a method to my madness, and there's a lot of inspiration I have on these two colors together. So I thought they were really gorgeous, a lot of fun. So also too, something that we've done since you guys have been gone on my page, we did some embellishments. So I did, let's see here, we've got pale gold. There we go. There's the color right there. So pale gold is outlining all of our border here on the inset here and on this portion as well. We've got all of that in the pale gold. And to complement that, we also went ahead and used the vintage gold by Prima, little metallic waxes, and we used those along with the stick and style mold or stick and style stencil, might I say, to do a little subtle right there on all the drawers. So I even captured this on the little drawers. You can barely see it here on the camera, but it's really fun in person. It's just a little bit of something. I didn't want it to be super plain Jane, so I wanted to do something a little fun. When you open all the drawers, have a little something going on there. All right, so what I'm going to do right now is show you, we have our Klingon brush, the little weird angle, the P20, and I wanted to show you guys how we use it. So I'm going to kind of move this around a bit, and let me get my paint real quick. And I've already shaken it, but we'll do a little more shake right there. All right, I'm going to open it down here. I don't want to get any on me, because that would probably be what happens. I mean, look at that color. It's so rich. Love it. Love it. I hope you guys love it. I hope it was a nice surprise for you. All right, so on the Klingon brush, you can just let it soak in your water. I just let it soak in my little container until I'm ready to use it. All right, so let's see if I can get you guys up close. So this is a weird angled brush, and why I'm using it, I had to go ahead and stick this piece. I had taken it out to clean it up and redo it, so I've already screwed it back in because I was worried about it scratching up our sides here. Plus I had to attach these before I put this back in, so everything was already attached, ready to go. So I've only got a couple more spots I wanted to paint in here for you, and I wanted to show you the method to our madness here. Let's see. Hope you guys can see. Kind of hard maneuvering. I've got a lot of stock that just came in, so it's kind of taking up my classroom here. All right, so this just makes it easy to get back in there, but I'll show you something else. So dip it, wipe off the front, so you've got your paint on the back of it. Now you can get the back very easy without sticking your hand all the way in there. And then we're going to come forward. Let me get the forward portions here. I just thought this was an interesting little brush. I have a ton of brushes, and I just thought this was a very cool one to have in your repertoire, I guess, if you ever felt the need one. Let's see, let's get a little more in there. Don't ever be afraid to take apart your piece. Like I said, we had to take it apart. We knew there was an issue with this piece wasn't connected, and it was a really easy fix. Just went in there and took this part. There was actually a finishing or maybe a staple in there that I had to take a little mini, I have a little mini hacksaw, and I just took it and hacked it out. So, but it's okay. We've got screws down here that's holding it in. So let's see. All right, so we've got all of that nicely painted. And I'll probably come back through here and touch up some more as well. That looks good there, little white spot there. All right, a little bit right here. So you just kind of look at your piece in all kinds of angles, and it helps you. You'll find what they call holidays. So where your paint is missing is called a holiday. So, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that away. And we're gonna just leave that paintbrush in the water. Makes it easy peasy for cleanup. If I'm coming back to this tomorrow, I can actually leave it in the water. It's better to suspend it if you can, but you can certainly leave it in there. That's what the Klingon paintbrushes are for, is to, you can leave them in suspension in the water. All right, so there's our Firelight. I hope you guys love that color. Throw me some hearts if you're loving it. No, actually on the shape of the brush, totally easy. When you have a weird little angles like that, it just made it easier because I've used our zebra, the little short handle, the little pro handle, and it was just too hard to get in there. So without getting my hand completely covered in Firelight, it was just so much easier, and it actually really is easy. Like you would think the angle looks weird and funky and it would be hard to use. No, it was really easy. So that is literally my second time using the brush. So I really like it. Now, one thing real quick, you guys, on this piece right here, we have a pressure point, and here, and also up here. So I found these little, because as a stain, it wasn't a problem, but sometimes when it's painted, those pressure points can cause your paint to come off when it's pushing it against each other. So all I did was put little clear, like little furniture tabs, but really tiny, very clear, real thin. So I put those on there. All right, so if you guys have any more questions, I'll certainly try to answer them as I see them. Sometimes I don't see them, and because they go by kind of quick. And if I don't see it on the live, I'll definitely answer your question afterwards in the comments. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me show you what we've been doing so you guys can see a little more. So I'm gonna roll you over here. Hopefully we can roll the camera. Are you ready? All right, so not kill myself with my cord. All right, so I want you to see where we are on the piece here. Okay, so we've gotten this far, and what I've done also is it's a match around the corner. I'm wrapping that around. Okay, so the only part where it's not going to match is because this portion is missing because we have this angle here. So this portion that was here will not obviously go this direction. It's maybe we can use it on the inside on one of those sides over there, but we'll keep all these pieces and parts so that we can use them for more, because I'm thinking we're going to use 2 whole transfer sets in this particular collection, or this particular piece. So, and it does come with 6 pieces, so there's 6 rolls this size, and it's really, really important to lay them out before you get started, because they look like they may match just kind of glancing over them, or they look like out of the box they should go in order, but that isn't always the case. So definitely line them up, get them on the ground. I had to lay them all on the ground to make sure I had it all correct. Otherwise, I would have started with the wrong one. So it's real important to just kind of lay all your pieces out and then go from there. And I also used a T-square to cut my pieces, especially when we got down to the bottom, and to cut anything that was major. Like I had to cut some to cut right here because it's going to be a different lineup on this section. All right, so let's go ahead and go with, we're going to go ahead and go with this piece right here. So let's get that right there. And you guys remember to go ahead and sprinkle our video around. Let us know what we're doing, how we're doing. All right, so let's get this guy. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and take this off. So we're lining up. I'm going to make this a little bit shorter. You're not going to see much of me, but you're going to see my hands, I guess. All right, so there is a good angle. All right, so you guys, we're just going to line this up here. So our match point is down here. So we're having a break here because I didn't want to put anything on the gold portions. So we're having it here. Otherwise, you certainly could come down and match it up like that. It's totally up to you. I decided I didn't want any of the transfer on my gold parts. That's just my preference. And I'm going to come back and do a little touch up here anyway, but that's just how I wanted to do it. You can certainly do it any way you want. There is no wrong way. And if you notice, okay, we have it here, we have a lot of blank space up here. And I may like it, but I probably am going to end up doing more of the transfer up on top, so we'll have some of it come down and maybe connect it as well. So we, like I said, we have two whole tubes of the transfer we're going to use. One's going to get us all the way to here, and then the other one's going to get us started there and on the top. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to peel our backing off. All right, voila. I don't need this anymore. Now it's really important not to touch your transfer. If you do, it will probably stick to you. All right, so we're going to get this. And as long as you don't push it down, you generally have some work time to get that straight on there. All right. Okay. So I've gone ahead and got that. It's on there. I mean, it would probably, if I pull it off, it's not going to completely stick on there, but it'll probably ruin your transfer. So once you've done what I've done, you're ready to rock and roll. All right, so you can use the stick that comes with it. I don't know what I did with it because I do use our transfer tool. Now this one has been giving me fits today, probably because I wasn't trying to do it in a hurry. And I have learned you've got to be patient with your transfers, and I'll get really close for you guys so you can see everything here. All right, and you guys remember Dustin comes on in about 45 minutes. He also, if you are not watching that yet, he does have a home talk where he's doing his stripes, so that's going to be really cool. So once you see us, go ahead and watch the home talk on replay. Pretty excited about that. I got to go watch it on replay because it started at 7 or 6 Central, you know. All right, so got a little bit on this corner. So I'm going to use my fingernail to kind of, I've got a little corner lip thing right here. I'm just going to push it down. Alright, so you can get a paper cut. Just be careful. I actually have a little tear in this one that I didn't know I had. Okay. Alright, so I've pretty much pushed it all around. Let's see if we've got it all the way down. It's also a little drier and cooler in here now, so I'm hoping that'll help with my transfer releasing. All right. It's just wanted to make me look like a liar, that's all. All right, let's see, got that. I'm gonna get a little flower right here. Boom. All right, so this is done. All my stuff is off of it, so I'm gonna just get rid of that because I don't use it again. Now I take my finishing pad, like I've cut these up into itty bits because it's easier for me to handle. I don't need like a really big finishing pad, but I want you to see, I hope you can see it. Right here, there's a little bubble. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm gonna kind of just squish it out. Now it's gone, okay? So you wanna make sure you get all of your bubbles out of your transfer. So I always work from the middle out. All right. And be careful when you're using your finger because it can lift. I've lifted edges of my transfers before, and it's okay, you can fix it. And I'll show you, I did have a little boo-boo on what I've already applied, and I'll show you where it is. Because it's, when you have a piece like this where it's a lot of color, it's easy to fix, or easier. So, super duper easy. Never freak out. If you make a really big mistake, just kind of sand it to look vintage and just keep going. You can even layer another stencil. So just make it look purposeful. If you make a big mistake, if you're just really not satisfied at all, you can always take them off. I think you can use a heat gun or hair dryer on hot, or just sand it off. I mean, I've had some, I guess, where you have the little break in between like your drawer and it's like a huge chunks missing. That was like one of my first ones. I did a really big transfer and I just filled it in with some paint. You just blend your paints and you can really fix problems. So I just don't have the, I'm not gonna throw money away, so if I've got it on there, I don't wanna take it off. Okay, I see some bubbles in there. Get you worked out. Okay. All right. So I'll probably end up coming down with the other part of the transfer up here to make it look like it'll just be covered. It's going to be completely covered. I'm excited. I love this transfer for this piece. Like I said, we were doing kind of an Asian fusion theme. So that's kind of where we are on that. And I'm just making sure my bubbles are coming all the way out. I've got a couple of stranglers here and I'm gonna have to come back and work on those. All right, I think this may be where it touches the felt. So it just may be rough right here. So I'll double check that. So once this comes down, this touches the felt here. So it just may be a little rough right there. Once I put a clear coat on, it'll be totally fine. All right, so let's go ahead and put on our bottom portion. And just so you know my rhyme and reason, because we have this portion's matched up, this is not gonna match because, you know, it would have had to been straight for it to wrap around. It's not straight, so it's not gonna match here, and I'm okay with that. There's a border here to break that up, so no big deal. But here is where it matches. So I did start with my middle piece first on this side to make sure we had everything just right. So let's back that up a little bit and point down. All right, so we've got this guy right here we want to get on there. And there are times, this one I'm not going to cut. I was going to. Sometimes I will cut my transfer edges because there's like a fine halo where they're going to overlap just a little tiny bit. You can barely even see it. So the new ones are not that much of a overlap. The old ones, definitely I would always cut them as close as possible to get the match up just right. But this one is going to be in this little jam right here, so I'm not really worried about it. I just want to make sure that I match up right here. So let me get a little bit closer to the ground. Let me clear off my little stool because I'm too high up on this one. It's never perfect, right? All right. And I want to share with you the hardware that may or may not go on this guy. I'll show you what I mean. All right, so I ordered some special hardware because I wanted something unique and different. And this is the hardware I ordered. Let's see if I can, there we go. So very, it was Asian inspired. It's actually from a Chinese hardware company, and they're attached like this. So that was really, really awkward to have these pins, kind of like a brad. And the way you're supposed to attach them is you put them through the wood and then you bend them back and hammer them back into the drawer. And I was like, wow, that is too much. I'm going to ruin something. So I've ordered pins. Like, see, this pin came from the original, but the hole doesn't go all the way through, so I can't reuse that. I was totally bummed because it'd have been such an easy fix if the hole was all the way through to just use this in lieu of these weird brad things that seem very dangerous. So hopefully when they come in, we'll have some options, but I also ordered some more pulls as well. So we'll see. We'll see. Just wanted to share with you that little bit that we have going on. All right, so let's see, we got up close. All right, move back a little bit. All right, and we also painted the legs gold as well. So I don't know if you guys can see that right here. We did that on Tuesday on my page. So if you guys want to check it out, run over to my page and watch the replay. We painted the firelight on the base just because typically with gold leafing, you have kind of a red base. And I wanted that to show through in case I do some distressing. You never know with me around here. Like 1 minute I want one thing, the next minute I'm going to want the other. So let's go ahead and get this matched up. And oh yeah, reminder. All right, so where did I make the mistake? So I had a weird overlap or underlap right here. I just took some paint and blended all this out so you can't tell. So all you do is just keep taking your colors, your paint colors, and you've been painting probably, well, maybe for brand new, you might not know, but you can kind of see, do I need a little green to it? Do I need a little yellow to it? Do I need a little, whatever? Just add a little bit more to it until you get it just right. If it starts getting gross and muddy, just walk away, come back later once it's dry, and start again. So, easy peasy. So the girl that did custom color matching for Sherwin-Williams, right? All right, so let's get this. Yes, that was my job right out of college. I went to work for Sherwin-Williams, and I would color match paint by eye, and it was all right. I didn't really love doing that, but I was pretty darn good at it. Let's see, I'm trying to match that up. Whew. Perfectly here. All right. Let's see. Okay, what's going on there? Okay, let's see. It's like I'm super quiet, trying to make sure I get it totally matched up just right. Okay, there's that. All right. Okay. All right, ta-da! Whew. Sometimes I hold my breath while I'm doing it, and it's like super stressful because I like to make sure they match up. And so it's easier if you're working on this at home, flip your piece on its back. It's so much easier to have that weight of your piece so that it kind of hangs, lays to your piece. Me, I'm trying to do it for you guys, so I'm kind of having it hang off the piece, so it's a little harder to do it this way. So, unless you have a big gigantic armoire, you can just flip it over on its back and work on it that way. All right, so I got those done. So what I'm gonna do, we've got a big gap right here for our, let's see, is that gonna go? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. So I'm gonna cut it in there, and I'm gonna cut this right here. It's not a big gap down here, so I'm not gonna cut this. What I'm gonna do is get the transfer on there, then I'm gonna take my blade and cut it, because I'm afraid I will cut my paint, and I'll be really sad. I love it too, Chris. It's really pretty. All right, so let's see. Actually, I don't need a whole lot cut on that one. Trying to determine what I need on that. Okay, let's poke a hole right here. There, that's what I wanted to do. All right, so I'm gonna get this itty bit. There's a teeny tiny bit up here that's gonna match up to that. Let's just kind of work that on. And then we're gonna work this in. I'm gonna just push this because we have a lot of room here to get that on. All right, so now we need to cut this down. So we're gonna take our blade and I'm gonna shorten it so it's a little tiny bit of my blade here. So if you're using an X-Acto knife, that's perfect. This blade is the kind that you cut or you break off. It's a breakaway knife. So I suggest if you do it, use a new breakaway when you're doing this. So let's see. All right. Let me start it here. And if you cut something, it's fine. Not a big deal, right? All right, so we got that. All right, let's get that. Let's get this little edge. Do that. Get it all on there. Ooh, ooh. I'm scratching some of my original here. Not a big deal. I'll go back and fix that later. You want to be really careful and not get crazy like I did just right now. So you want to be real careful when you're adjoining your pieces, because you will scrape off what you've got on there. All right. Okay, I need to cut that off so I can get it off. So that is there. Let's see if I can get this completely done right here. So this is like little tricky areas. All right. Okay, now we can work this down. Okay. Remember not to scrape your old section like I have done. But it won't be a big deal. I'll just go back and touch it up. And again, if you don't want to touch it up, you can just make it look all distressed, and that would look great also. All right. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna take my finger. Okay, we got that all on there good. All right, let's go ahead and get this portion on. We're gonna get that nice and scrubbed in. Now I'm gonna try to make sure I don't tear my good parts here that I got. Okay. There's a little drop here, so I'm gonna make sure I get that all on that. And I may paint this gold on the molding. I haven't decided yet, so I may get that far and do that. Okay. All right, so it's not adhering down. You can always do like a little test area. Okay. All right, and then we're just gonna pull it. Okay. Just be careful, don't pull your, or don't tear your other parts, don't scrape them. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. Ooh, see, I almost pulled that one down. Just gotta watch all your parts. All right, and we gotta be careful here at the bottom. Anytime you have a break, so where you have this, we'll have a little more, I guess, trouble for you is the best way I can say it. It's gonna stick a little bit different, so you wanna definitely, those are the parts to watch out for. So right here, I know that I need to make sure that this is on there really well, because it's going from no transfer to some transfer right there. So sometimes it can be a little finicky. Just work that on there. All right, let's see where we are. Okay. That one's giving me a little bit of trouble there. Okay, got that. And sometimes just taking it off from a different direction will be helpful too. So if it doesn't work going one way, go the other. So on this one, by the way, pick these up off your floor when you're done, because I almost stepped on one and wiped out. So now we have some little bit of bubbles here, a little pocket of bubbles. So we're gonna go ahead and work that portion out. See a big bubble there. All right. All right, so remember we have this down here that we need to slice very gently. Okay, and then I'm gonna slice this one right here. All right, and I'm just gonna push that down with my fingernail. If you don't have a fingernail, just use this, kind of the edge of it to get it down. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I definitely need to open this drawer so I can make sure and push down those areas. Okay, so you have a little overlap right there. Just push those down, work this, push your sides down, make sure they're adhered on really well. Because once you put your top coat on, you don't want any air bubbles, because if you do, those air bubbles trying to escape will cause it to sometimes make a mess for you. All right. All right, and you can seal your transfer with water-based wax. Let's see, any of the top coats that are water-based. All right, so we got that on there really nicely. Okay, just making sure we're lined up there. Yep. So there's that portion right there. So this guy sticks out a little bit because the way the mechanism works. So boom. And then we've got this guy right here. This all matches up to here. So what we're gonna do, let's see, we have a little bit of time. Yeah, we have a little bit of time, so I'll go ahead and put this portion on so you guys can see me starting a new portion. Again, I'm starting in the middle versus starting at the bottom or the top. So I always want to make sure, for me, I want to make sure that this, let's see, let's get closer here. I want to make sure it is spot on. Now this particular transfer, if I got crooked or anything like that on accident, it wouldn't be a big deal because you're not going to notice. It's not like it's a writing. It's kind of organic, the branches and the trees and the birds. So there's no right or wrong. There's no ooh, she got off. So you don't have to really worry about it. Those are probably the easier transfers to do, where it's a little more organic. Even easier are the ones you cut up and use just the little bits and pieces on how you want to use it. So this one, being a big one, was a little bit harder to use. And matching up, so you've got this about a 1/2 inch where you're going to overlap your paper and get it all on here. Okay. All right. So let's see if I can get this. I'm gonna get a little more like that for you guys. All right. This is a long piece here, so I want to make sure I get it all nicely lined up. Ooh, okay, ready? Got it. Work it out. Ooh. All right. This would be a big one to mess up on the camera, right? All right. So I'm gonna get this out of my way. Actually, I'm gonna get. Let's see. Oh, yeah. All right. Let me get in a really comfortable position here. All right. So I'm going to line her up. And you can leave it on the paper if you chose to, like halfway on the paper, which is probably a good idea. And let's see, do I like that? Let me see, nope. Oop. Go right there. My branch, my flower. Oh, that flower is doing weird stuff. Okay. That's all right. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. So this one goes pretty far. So just want to make sure we got this guy lined up, our flowers lined up, our branches, and this flower down here. Everything else will fall into place. All right, so what I'm going to do right here, because I have a nice hump right there that I don't want. Let's see, got my little knife. All right, so we're going to just cut that across. I'm going to actually get further on the ground so I can get on this with you guys, because this is really like, I want to make sure you get it right. All right, so I need to get eye level with this guy. All right, so what we're going to do is just cut that all the way across. And I'm going to push it down so it doesn't lift on me. All right. Okay. All right. So that's on there. That one's on there. Yeah, I kind of went a little, but that's all right. Just a little off. No big deal. All right. So let's find my transfer tool. All right. So we're going to go ahead and work this guy on. We're actually just, and what is a good idea, so where this was a part that was cut off, when you are working on this and you didn't trim this, for me it's harder to see, so I can see where I'm a little off right here, but I'm just going to take a little paint and blend that, not a big deal. And let's see, can you guys see? Good. All right. So let's see, where was I going with that? Oh well. All right, so you just want to keep going. What I do, okay, So when you don't cut it, or you don't have a cut portion, you're matching it up. So this one had a little overlap, but for me it's harder to see that I've got this lined up perfectly. So everybody's a little bit different. Just do what's best for you. So there is some overlap because this is where the new part of the transfer starts. This is the old, so you can kind of overlap, makes it a little easier. You can also, if you have overlap, not overlap, but you wanted it to, you could take a little piece of the transfer paper that you threw away and just use it to kind of do. So you won't do what I did like down here. But I'm not worried about that. Either I'm going to distress it, or I'll just take some paint, blend it out, touch it up like you never knew that happened. Okay. All right, so let's get this on there. And this is one of those drawers real tight down here, so I'm going to get it as tight as I can, and we're going to cut it once we take it off, once we take our paper off. All right. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I don't want to lose your beak. All right, there we go. So we got our beak on there. Okay, now we start. Yeah, get back on there. All right. Sometimes they don't want to come off. You just keep working it, and they will. And you're going to do a lot. Well, I tend to use a lot of pressure on mine, so you're going to need a lot of pressure on it to ensure it adhered. All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm really digging this transfer a lot. Actually, I'm a transfer fanatic. Now we've gotten so many in. I've got a whole wine rack full. I've got buckets in the store that are full of transfers because I want lots of options, and I want you to have lots of options too. So, all right. So when you're done with this, your transfer and all that jazz, like I said, then you're going to seal it. I am most likely going to seal it with the Paint Couture Flat. It's my favorite because it's not quite flat. And I'm just taking my fingernail and squishing that down. It's more of an eggshell, the flat, so don't let the word flat fool ya. It's technically more of an eggshell finish. If you want a flat finish that is totally flat, that would be dead flat. All right, let's see. All right, she's peeling nicely. All right, let's get more of that off. So I hope you guys are empowered to paint any color and throw on a transfer or two. I don't know if you guys caught Dustin on his page on Tuesday, but he did a flower pot and it was really cool. Used one of my favorite colors and one of my favorite transfers, and it's beautiful. I'm trying to convince him that I need it in my house. But he just laughs. Oh my goodness, yeah. It's okay. I'm kind of a plant killer anyway, so it would just look pretty with a really dead plant in it. I killed a succulent, y'all. No lie. I think I overwatered him, but it may have been a combination of like too much water, not enough water. So like he was in shock and just died. I think he's like, let's just get this over with and die. So it was super sad. Maybe a cactus would be better, then I never have to water it, right? Okay, oops, little bird. Keep your eye on. All right. Like I said, this is easier if you have it laying flat. So if you can flip your piece on its back, it'll be easier for you to apply. I'm doing this so you guys can see it. Plus I can't really reach. Like I said, we're getting ready for Christmas, so the storeroom is a little full and it's a little full in here. So I'm not sure I can get to my lift that would be helpful to maneuver this guy on its back. Okay, that little bird is hanging on. And that is a-okay. Let's see if we've got him. Sometimes I will hold this and pull it. So let me turn you a little bit. So when I'm pulling this, I'm just holding that down and just following it through. So vibrant. I love these colors in this one. All right, let's see. Okay, and there's a start of new right here. So you see where we have like a little of it wants to kind of hang on and stick. Just kind of start a new up there. Like I said, this is a big one. So if you're not ready for a big transfer, you can always start with the smaller ones or one that you cut up in little bits. You can even probably cut this one up in bits. Like I said, if you have it on its back, it's much easier. All right, so got to get his beak there. Okay, the little wings want to hang out. Let's get those feathers off. All right, so once we get that going, then it makes it a little bit easier. It's a little more smooth sailing. Right there, it's a little bit happening. Okay, make sure I get all of that right there. There's a little bit right there. Oop. Get back up there. All right, so let's see. Ready? Let's see how that's gonna go. Okay. Woo! Ah. All right. Okay, let me find my finishing pad. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and, so this was a pretty good size section. It's about 24 inches of transfer. Let's get that stuck under there. And you always want to push it down and away from you. If you push it towards you, you will pull that part of the transfer. It'll get all over your finger. You won't be so sad, but it'll just be a lot of, it could pull up your transfer, but most likely it'll just get on your finger. Okay, so we're going to push down right here. We need to go back and cut this right there because it's too tight to do it with the plastic on. I will cut my dresser or my chest, so I don't want to cut my chest, so I'm going to go through here and I'm just going to real fine slice it. Okay, push that down, slice. I'm just going along with the piece. I'm just letting it rest right on that little section. Okay, there we go. And cut that little part right there. All right, so got that all nice and cut up. All right, we'll have our key ready. Let's go ahead and make sure we've got all this down. Now we will have a little bit right there and then it goes off. Like I said, I got a little off, but that's okay. This is a more organic piece, so it's not detrimental that I had it perfectly lined up. I was more worried about it lining here and doing the pattern match around the corner. Okay, let's get that part squished down. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up real quick because Dustin will be coming on in just a few minutes. All right, let's get this going. So hopefully, okay, so there's the hole for my hardware. I'm just gonna like stick that in there. I just want that out. All right, so I got that on. Get that all done. Squish that down. There's my keyhole. I may end up doing some embellishments, like a would you bend on these. I gotta look, I've got quite a few escutcheons, so we'll figure that out for the next time, what we're gonna do. All right, so let's get that all smushed down. Ooh, almost lost a leaf there. Get that little, sometimes the little edge wants to come off, just rub it till it does. And don't worry, once you put your top coat on, you're not gonna see that. All right, so make sure got it all on there. All right, so what I'm gonna do, so once you got it all on there, you need to pull the drawer open. Okay, and we're gonna make sure we pushed all that little edging down, so you can push that down, make sure it's on there really, really well. Notice a little rough spot there on the piece itself. So this piece has traveled around and got to us, so kind of fun. All right, so I'm gonna make sure this is all pushed down. I'm gonna make sure this is all pushed up. This is going up. All right, there we are. All right, so there we are, you guys. We will finish her up. We'll finish up the transfer before we see you next week. We'll decide what we're gonna do for hardware, and hopefully the hardware solution will come. Otherwise, we have some other ones, backups that are coming as well. And we will see you guys next week. Make sure you like, share, like is, sprinkle this around to all your friends, and happy painting.